Welcome, dear friends, and today we will speak about soul and spiritual world because it's very important to us to know, do we think only with the brain and after our biological life, our life will end, or our life will have continue and our spirit, our soul leave our dead body and continue his life, never-ending life. It's very serious to us. And if we don't speak about the Orthodox religion, about Orthodox Christianity, we can find in every religion believing that every human have soul and there is a spiritual world. Every religion, even the reincarnation that we see in Hinduism and Buddhism, even there we can find this conception of continuum of life of a human. And we can read in the 12th topic of the law of Manu about reincarnation that if some man makes sins, he will reincarnate like sin, like alcoholism. He will be reincarnate 1,000 times, became a worm. It's very important to us to understand that this practice explain the hell for like reincarnation. Reincarnation is not fine idea that I will be a butterfly, or I will be a kitty, or I will be a lion, or I will be animal, beautiful animal, and after some time I became another man. Reincarnation is hell to humans' spirit, to human soul became animal. It's pain. It's very hard to the human became animal. That's why in these theories, these religion theories, we can find the conception of the hell, of the spiritual world. It's very important to us because when I hear from someone that human we love by our brain, I became mad when I hear this word, because the brain is only some part of our body that works and helps to the spirit, to our soul, to make connection with our body. At the beginning of the Bible we can read that God created sky and earth, and the Holy Father said that the Moise, the Holy Prophet Moise, means that sky is not the sky that we can see. The sky is spiritual world, then angels live, only angels. We must know that God creates only angels, and some angels decide to live his life without God, and they became black because the spirit creates shape. The spirit creates shape. We can see it on people who love alcohol, yes? And this spirit creates the shape of this human who have the spirit inside him. That's why we have spiritual world, and we can find stories about spiritual world in every religion, in every myths and every religion. Everybody until our times, materialism, time of materialism and evolutionism and a lot of bad things for our spirit. Everybody, every civilization believe in this, and I don't think that those people was something like stupids and fools. These people was very wise. They know the nature, and they know the stories when people die and what they see after this. And also in our time, when with the high level quality medicine, we have a lot of times when people watch the continuous of the life after the death. And we have a lot, thousands maybe, stories from people that see life after death. I will show you some stories, and maybe a very great story we can find in a documentary film of BBC, The Day That I Die. And there's a story of one blind girl Jenny, I think, Loratok, and he was blind, absolutely blind from the day of his birth. And when he died, he get to a car crash, and when he died, first time in his life he watched all the world that we see, not for a long time. After that, he get back to his body. The spirit, his soul, became back to his body. But also we have a lot of people who see the world. But look at this moment. He was blind. She was blind, and when she see this world without the eyes that he have, it explains to us that the center of our things and our watching video information, audio information that we get from nature and the world around us, the center is not brain, the center is spirit, is soul of the man. That's why we have a lot of stories. You can read the book of Professor Modi, and a lot of stories you can watch on YouTube. A lot of stories of people who watch themselves after death. You can watch the stories of the people who who go to hell, or they go to and they watch heaven after death. This also, I think that's true. This is true in most of the time. This is true stories, and I think that if you don't trust me and don't trust the people that you hear, you can ask the people who live around you, and I'm sure that you find one or two people who have this clinic death, and he continue his life, and he watch something after death. Some people don't watch nothing maybe because of this psychological stops, blocks that we have in our mind, in algorithm of our thoughts. We have a mechanism that stop some memories, the memories that can break our psychical, the memories that can bring problems, psychological problems to us. That's why maybe some people don't remember that's happened with them after death. And also we must understand that scientists are blind in this moment, because scientists only can make research for the things that they watch around them, and the things that they can repeat a lot of times, or the things they can see a lot of times. But the nature is blind, because our material world is like some PC or laptop with a program inside, and we are the people who live inside, and the scientists cannot put some scientist thing to make a research out of this PC laptop. That's why we can hear only people who was there, and maybe trust them. Okay, if I say to you, if you don't trust these people, ask people who live around you, and they tell you something about it. And this is not a problem of the mind who between death have some process, because the people see that so important things that they could never see if all that they see was just a fantasy or something. Yes, and also we have things like broken brains with air crashes or bullets or different things. And okay, if our brain work like PC, how can we explain the people like this without help of brain or something? How they can think, how they stay alive, how they repair their memory? How we can explain this? Or this man from Japan, the parasites eat his brain, and he came to doctors and said, "Oh, my brain is sick," and a little later he died. And we have a doctor and a holy man, Luka Voyny-Sinetsky from Crimea, and he said that he was a very professional doctor, very popular doctor in his time, and he said that when we operate brain and delete some sick parts of the brain, the spirit connect to the other parts, and sometimes the problems of the mind get away. That's why the brain is not the center of our thoughts or of our emotions. The emotion, the video center, the audio center, the emotion center is soul, and the soul is never-ending life. Also we can make a self-experiment about this. Have you in your life any times then you remember some man, some friend, or your parents, or maybe some people which you don't remember for a long time, and they call to you? I think this is experiment 100% quality. Your personal experiment. This is your personal experiment when you can see that there is something more than this material world. And also we must understand that our bodies have death because of our sins, because of Adam and Eve, about the falling. We speak about this problem. We believe that after death the soul of the man go to the spiritual world. He have a little time here, and after a short time he go to the spiritual world. If the spirit, if the soul have a bad kind, he go to hell. If good kind, he go to heaven. And but this is not end of our story, because God must repair us. The God must give us new bodies. The God give us new life. And in the second coming of Christ, we have that God raised all the people lived in all time, and some people will stay with God, and the other one go to hell for all the times. In this time we will have never-ending life. And also we must understand, some people say, okay, if we don't have body, how we can feel pain when we hear the people who was in hell, how they feel pain there, how they smell bad smells of the hell, and they look a lot of bad things and hear screaming of the people who are there. And the answer is also that our soul is the center of our mind, of our emotion, and the whole thing that we feel and hear. And our body is just a biological machine like this. We see in the first video that every cell of our body is a spaceship, it's a biological machine. And the Christ said to us also in Holy Gospel that as our wear is more cheaper than our body, such our soul is more costs much more than our body. That's why first of all we must think not about our bodies. First of all we must think about our souls. If our souls, we wouldn't have any Holy Spirit, we became spiritual deaf, and we don't see the God after our life. And some people say, okay, I will live a sinner life here in the earth, but when I see God there, I will repair and ask to forgive all my sins. But this is very big false, because in spiritual world we don't have no time to repair. Here in our world, when we live, we have time. The time, we must know, that is running of materia. The water, the rivers going, the sun every morning came to the sky, and in the evening go away on the horizon. But in the spiritual world, we don't have no time to repair, to change our mind. And as Holy Paisios say, that billions of people who are in hell, they're waiting for, ask God for 5 minutes here on earth to change a lot of things. That's why we must change ourselves first of all, and pray to God to forgive the people who are there, because they can pray about himself, because they can change nothing. They don't have bodies to change nothing, because also God creates our humans with body and soul. Body and soul, all when these two components are together, we are truly full, truly in a full completion like this. But when our body go away from our spirit, we can do nothing. That's why in this time we must think about the never-ending future that God give to us, and the never-ending life that God give to us. Thank you for your passion, and see you in the next video. We'll speak with you about spiritual life.